one of the things we're struggling with is the impact of multiple generations of culture and systems that are set up to serve single moms. And that, you know, as Marlene's staff famously said at one of our meetings, this woman has 8 children. They were none conceived by Immaculate Conception. So there are dads in the women's lives, and there are little boys who are interested in what a dad is and what that role is. And we've found tremendous challenges overcoming our policy, practice, moral, and other value systems that make it really difficult to engage dads. But yet if we're serious about interrupting an intergenerational problem and self-sufficiency and what it means to have 2 parents in the home versus 1 parent, whether they're married or not, this is not about a marriage agenda, this is about common, you know, what is there an opportunity in this project to make gains in this huge social challenge? And did you all have any lessons that you could impart to us on that topic?
Great question. Thanks, Katie. Who wants to take it first?
Well, I think one of the hardest things that we had with this issue is our contract obligations, because our contractual requirements were that it was only for women and head of household. So in order to bring the partner in, they weren't eligible depending on the contract and the funding streams, okay? So now we're asking them to be partners with a person, but they can't live with them, but they can be parents with them. So it's you have to negotiate that very carefully. And, you know, I wish I had a better answer for you, because I don't think that I do. I think that this is, yes.
But your new program is for, you know, it's not just women only.
Oh, right, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, now we don't do, it's just depending on the contract strings and stuff. But, like with working with the father, like Diversity Works, for instance, is 34 families, mother and father, the kids, you know, everything. And so we have that whole issue. And honestly, what we've seen at Diversity Works is that the fathers are actually very engaged in the children's life when they're able to live together, when they're able to be in the same unit. There's been a lot of positive reinforcement, positive fathering, and being a part of that. So I
think, and I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I think being very creative in what you do. We do a lot of outreach and a lot of resourcing outside. So, you know, when I think of this challenge that you're having, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I need to form a group for these boys to be able to have some psychoeducation around being in a single household, because sometimes our focus ends up going to the children. Okay, we're not reaching mom or dad. You know, we had a free arts program come in to Fox Point and do art therapy. The program initially was meant to be for the parent and the child. Mom wasn't coming down and participating. So we didn't want to eliminate that program, so we just were able to maneuver it into working only with the child. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, engagement, maybe a support group for the dads, maybe an activity on site where it's child, son and father, child and father. So being creative and reaching out to other programs.
Great example.
And I watched these programs, these very talented folks be very thoughtful around how do you involve partners. You watched, you know, there would be real struggles around domestic violence, around partner violence, you know, that they've really had to figure out how do we maintain safety in our residence. I've also watched fathers come in and provide the stability that one needs, particularly around relapse issues. And so I think that what I've seen is a thoughtfulness and a flexibility across the sites around the meaning of partners, the meaning of fathers, and how can we use and involve them in the kind of the most strength-based way. And I think that just like the histories of the mothers that we work with can be long, so can the histories of our fathers, but that hasn't stopped these guys of really thinking about what's the strength and what's the opportunity. But it's been a very thoughtful process for families. The other thing is that open communication, as opposed to having to figure this out as a worker is really important. They've partnered with their families. They've partnered with the women to really think about what's the right role, what's the real need. And so it hasn't been like the staff is like behind the door trying to figure it out, but it's much more a dialogue around what's the best thing for your family, both in the residence and outside the residence. And that I think has been really helpful.
Emily, I felt like you had a very good story around domestic violence at Fox Point.
Yes.
Would you share that?
Yeah, it's the one I'm thinking. It was a young couple. Right now they have 3 children under the age of 7, and they're both 22, 23 years old, the couple. They came in to Fox Point, and we thought we were going to lose this family, quite honestly. They were so young with these children. No work history. Mom was trying to go to school. I think Dad felt, embarrassed. I think that he wasn't able to provide for his family. There was a lot of domestic violence at home. We have had to call ACS multiple times with this family. The one thing that I'll speak on when it comes to ACS is something that we do at Fox is myself or the program director will always make that call. The case manager does not make that call. I think that it tarnishes that working relationship between the case manager and the family. I'd rather be the bad guy, so to speak, but the family always knows when we're making that phone call. It is not a surprise. They know. The stigma around you're going to call and my children are going to be removed. So we work with ACS from the very beginning. Who are we? What is supportive housing? Please contact us while you're working with this family. They have not had an incident for over a year now. They're both working, and I think that they're proud of what they're doing. I think that having the income, being able to provide for these young kids is huge for them. But yes, a lot of DV in the beginning. And then after making the phone call, we wouldn't see them because they'd partner up, and then they would be upset with the staff. So that was difficult, and we had to wait them out. We've seen a lot of DV in the home, and that's a challenge. That really is a challenge. But yeah, that's become a success story with this particular family.
And if you haven't figured it out by now, ACS stands for?
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
Administration of Children's Services.
Okay. The Child Welfare Agency in New York
Sorry,
City.
yes.
No, that's okay.